All right. So, topic tonight. Let me let Betsy know what I'm doing so I can get my links going. You know what I mean? So,
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
yeah, we're going to get that. Well, maybe you can do that when I get on. Well, somebody's on here. All right. So, tonight, let's talk about, when I say men, I mean men and women. I mean human beings. I mean anybody that can relate. Um, I'm not. We are alive now. I'm talking to you while I'm talking to my video man. Yeah, we
We
live,
gotta
baby.
get you some theme music. We gotta get you like an intro slang or intro
I
something.
know.
But we live. That's what's up. So
Yeah, I'm sending it to. I'm sending it out to Kyle and everybody else who may be interested.
well, I'll let you go ahead and start the topic.
So what's my top? What's the topic again, man?
Topic of discussion for today is men and sadness. Talk about
And remorse, right?
sadness and remorse.
Well, won't you tell me what you think? Since I got you on
Men
a,
and sadness.
yeah, you're a man, you know.
Right. I've been listening to a lot of different things that lately, and the knee jerk thing that my mind went to because of the content that I've been consuming lately is race and race relations. We talk about men and sadness, remorse. If my mind, as a black man, went to, oh, there's different types of sadness. There's different reasons why people are sad or expressing sadness in different ways. And they can do it individually. I think men as a community can express sadness, and the remorse part of it. Uh, I think that even before we jump into this topic, one of the things that I like to do is have everybody working with the same operational definition. And I think that's what we need to do. In regards to remorse, I think, for some reason I want to go to feelings of guilt, um, which remorse obviously is not guilt because they're two different words. So remorse, I think, has something to do with guilt, but doesn't necessarily encompass guilt, if that makes any type of sense.
Well,
but I would definitely like to operationally define sadness and remorse.
Okay.
To start with, Webster definition.
Well, let's don't use Webster or any of those things. We're fully capable of having an operational definition of what this topic is going to be when we use the word sadness. When I use the word sadness, it's code for long periods of sadness. Sadness to the point where you may need external help and not recognize it. Sadness to the level where there may be um, changes, you know, for lack of better words, in your neuronal structures, and how much, neurotransmitters of certain things that you produce could be adjusted depending on your mood for too long.
Right.
So that's the sadness I'm talking about. It's like a sadness of when we reflect when we're alone, and not so much as the guilt, but it may be lost opportunities. It may be lost dreams. It may be lost options. It may have been a string of wrong choices. It may be patterns. We reflect on things, not just things that we're guilty over, but maybe grievable things that we can that maybe we need to grieve over, um, things that we're not anymore. Um, I used to think I was I used to think I could shoot pool real well, right? I had a pool stick.
Right.
I used to go to the pool hall all the time, and I'm not that anymore. And I had to kind of grieve that, and I let the pool stick go, and the ideas go, and I kind of freed myself from that burden, you know. But that's a small scale. On a deeper scale, you know, when you look back over your life and you think about opportunities that you could have done that may have landed you totally different than where we are now. I can think of several situations. It's like spinning a wheel in my head to think about the opportunities or the yeses. What I should have said yes when I said no, and I should have said no when I said yes. You know how many times I've done that?
Right, I only one today.
Yeah, right. You know, on so many levels. And the remorse, I think what I'm saying is the remorse is just probably an expression of what we're feeling. What we're feeling when we think that sadness, it expresses itself in the emotion of remorsefulness. And we feel melancholy. We feel sad, lost opportunities, lost dreams, lost relationships.
I definitely hear you. I think that in today's lexicon, people talk about that concept of things being on the spectrum. What are your thoughts about that? What are the extremes of sadness or remorse? Because I've definitely heard you just say that it's something that could hurt you,
Man,
something, or it can also be something that can help you.
I think the extremes that I've seen of sadness, cross over into depression and levels of depression. I've seen people's lives become, totally secluded, unable to find joy, unable to find happiness, unable to function as they once were, totally transformed into something that was just blue and dull. Um, and I think that would be, some extreme things like their personalities, their character. Nothing of them was recognizable, and I think that would be extreme. And I think we can be well on our way to that if we're not careful. Um, and then there's the element of self harm, to the point where, you get to the point of self harm, you really need intervention. You really got to get intervention. Um, really got to get intervention.
What would intervention look like? What is intervention? How would you describe that? What is intervention for the people out there that just might not get what that is?
It means what it says. Somebody stepping in place and helping you decide and overcome something that you alone can't do by yourself. An intervention is even inserting or helping someone adjust the way they think about things, the way they think about thinking, the way they feel about feelings, helping them describe, understand, explore. Those are all types of interventions. An intervention is when you insert helpful outcomes without trying to be responsible, in a non-directive way. A non-directive way. Um, that's probably more than what you asked for, though.
Right. No,
So, so at some point in sadness, we are going to need intervention, whether that be from a spouse, a relationship, a close friend, whatever support group you have. That sadness, when people play close attention to you, they'll see the behavior change. And this is where I think that people get overlooked at when when other people see the behavior change, they're gonna recognize it as maybe an expression or need I say symptom, of the sadness. I know one of my symptoms, and it may fit for other people, but when I start sleeping in the middle of the day, when I get really sad, I get up under the covers and just put my head under the covers. I can't face the world. Um, and I sleep more. I sleep at random times that I'm not normally sleepy. I just don't want to face the world. And those are times that I remember that I did not. I recognized I was sad. I recognized why I was sad. Um, but it was a manifestation of that sadness was to withdraw, and just not want to be seen.
How long does that last, and what is too long?
Man, it took I don't know about anyone else, but me personally, I probably
Clinically speaking, what's too long to hold something like that?
clinically speaking, if I had to pull out the books, I would think 2 weeks of, lack of sleep, oversleeping, lack of eating, overeating, lack of having fun, lack of finding pleasure in things that you could have found that you used to find pleasure in. If you're in one of those patterns for more than 2 weeks, I think it's about high time to ask. Yeah, it's about high time to ask for help. Yeah, yeah. It's not going to get better at that point. You can't think your way into feeling better.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's where coping mechanisms come in.
Right.
Clinical terms.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the reasons I'm motivated to do these videos and kind of put myself out there is for that population that's marginalized because they developed such good coping skills because they had to, and they still function at a high level, but at that level, they still suffer at a high level too.
That sounds like people in another clinical term suffering with PTSD. Having survived. I mean, just in the sense of having survived the trauma.
Well,
and having to develop survival skills for that trauma. And not
well, you took it to the extreme. That's a little extreme than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person that's been dealing with sadness and doesn't understand that it's been 2 years, it's been a year, it's been 6 months, and they begin to cope, and no one can tell. They can't even tell, that their behavior, their feelings, their weight loss, their weight gain, their insomnia, their oversleeping, unable to focus, all these things have been manifesting, and they keep, maybe making excuses for them and going to work, maybe making excuses for them and still keeping the same schedule, and just become acquainted with it. You know what I mean? Just become acclimated to it. But if they were to have a conversation with someone outside of that environment and just breathe for a second, they could say something that could probably free them up that they wanted to say. Like, I really don't like this shit. I don't like my life. I don't know how I got here. Where did I go wrong? What can I do about it? These are the questions I think people are busting at the seams to ask. Is there any hope for me? What can I do at this point? And I don't know where I fit into that situation is. We just.
What do you mean where you fit into it? As a clinician? What do you mean?
Well, as the person making these videos, as the face of these videos, the position I'm putting myself in is that maybe, just maybe, we have a way that we can see things that maybe you haven't seen it that way before. And maybe just hearing somebody else give you an understanding, or maybe Marcus, maybe you may have a different understanding about someone.
Hey, stop using my government. We live.
That was cute, Marcus. But so yeah, man, it's WELNINC 2022 at gmail.com. You can email me your story. You can find me on Facebook. You can inbox me. You can post a comment. You can do whatever you want. Any interaction will get my interaction. We are open. I'm open to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Keep your last name out of it. So then I can't protect you if you do that. Just keep your last name out of it. Tell your story. Say what you need to say.
Let me ask you something,
sir.
And this is real talk.
Okay.
Online.
Okay.
Because it's about what you want to do with life. I mean, it's a situation which you want people to reach out to you for you to help them. Or let's be real. Let's keep it real. How vulnerable do you plan on getting on this live?
Me?
Because right now would be, depending on how vulnerable you plan on getting, would be the opportune time for you to share some type of personal story that you have, that you've dealt with this concept of sadness and remorse.
Yeah, I hear you.
Is this that, or is this not that?
Oh man, will you give me a second to think of one that I could feel comfortable sharing, and I will give you one
Okay.
of exactly something that I'm sad over. Opportunity lost. Um,
All right. So this is that. All right.
yeah. You know, I'm a mix. I'm a mix of joy. I'm a mix of joyous situation that I don't know how anybody's gonna take it, but I'm gonna mix that situation with um, a regret. Okay.
A joyous, regretful situation.
Yeah, this is gonna be all over the place. And
Okay.
the situation is the death of my mom. Okay.
We're going
So
deep. This episode, what, five?
yeah,
Yeah,
hey man, I ain't out here to play with these man. Listen,
yeah,
man, I ain't out here to play games, man. You know what I'm saying?
right.
These women and men, they're gonna recognize what it is, or I don't know. It is what it
No,
is.
I get it.
So 2008, man, my boy, this story right here. If I could put this timeline together without involving other people, I'll do good. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to keep this as much about me and my mom as I can. So
Right.
2008, my mom comes to see me. She's I'm telling this story in hindsight. She's sepsis, and we don't know she's sepsis. She's vomiting repeatedly everywhere. She has an appointment to go to the doctor in another town. We get her to get her home the day before. She's supposed to go to the doctor. I'm in grad school taking um, a summer class because I guess I wanted to stay on track to graduate. Knowing my butt, I might have had something to make up for. Anyway, nonetheless, I digress. So I'm on my way to class, and I get a call from, which ended up being the hospital, expressing to me to come to the hospital. My mom was there. Now, my mom had lived a life of, and I guess it's okay to say this is public information. You can look it up yourself. She had at least, I stopped counting at about 20 felonies when she died. And I think I last counted at least 10 times between rehab and jail and mental hospitals throughout California and Virginia. And that's me minimizing this woman at 52 years old who is now unconscious in the hospital, and they're waiting on me, the only surviving relative, to talk to me. So, um, my mom's there. They're telling me all the numbers, um, and I tell them, what I think they should do. Um, so anyway, my mom passes away, and it was your mom passing away. There's no way to describe. There's no way to describe that. However, I'm getting to the point. So
I hear you. I'm
so
right here with you.
so now we have to um, do a homegoing ceremony, a funeral, a goodbye. My regret and my remorse sometimes is that I did not overcome my something and speak on my mom's behalf and my family's behalf or my brother's behalf or anyone's behalf for my mom at her funeral. And I regret that. And I suffer sometimes when I think about that, I didn't take the opportunity to say more and do more at that time. I don't know if that means anybody else, but that's one of my remorses, you know.
You said this was a sad, full, joyful story. What's the joy?
Um, the joyful part, well,
That's what you said. You said it
as
was a
she
sad,
was,
joyful story of overcoming the sadness,
well,
overcoming the remorse. Because that's the question I'm gonna hit you with as soon as before
right,
you get to the end of this. Like, how did you overcome that?
right. Well, okay. I don't know how I'm gonna answer that question, so keep your punches above the belt. So let me
All
go
right.
back. The joy in it for me was this, and this is dark, but it's the truth. So I'm in the ICU unit, standing there with my mom, watching this stuff go on. And the nurse comes over and says, I'm going to give her a comfort order. And I signed this paper or something. I remember. And so they're giving my mom comfort. So I lean down to my mom's ear and I say to her, I said, this is the last time I'm going to get you high. Now going away from here. And that's the last thing my mom heard before she passed. And so that was pretty joyous to me because it was nothing else I could do for her. It was the only thing I could. It was the only thing left I could do was let her go. My mom chose the way she died by the way she had to live her life, and I had to respect that. It wasn't all her fault. But if I got to make a decision, I got to make a decision.
That's real. That's a real, truly sad story.
Hey man,
The
listen.
loss of a mother
It's somebody that's gonna see this.
comprehensive.
It's somebody that's gonna see this video, man. That's gonna think, they can't get through that. Um, that's probably, huh. Man, Marcus. My stories of grief and sadness run deep, and that's just one of them, man. And we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna go down that road. We said enough to let people know I can relate. And that people that's on this that's chatting with me while I'm live on YouTube that they can relate to. That's all we need to know. That's all they need to know. You know. So,
Looking back on that period of sadness and remorse and joy, uh, a lot of people are listening to this, my dude. And a lot of people will be listening to this, looking for guidance, looking for some type of direction that you can point them in, things to look out for. Um, that period of time, do you have any regrets on how long it was? That period of sadness, that period of remorse, do you look back and feel like you should have gotten over it sooner? Or
no, Marcus, no, buddy. You're talking about 14 years ago, man. No, I think I went through it and got through it in the time that best suited me or my situation.
That's
You know what I mean?
what I'm talking about. Like the thing that the sadness and remorse, like it really comes down to like what best suits somebody, or does it always?
Well, I think that trying to recognize when someone else needs to process something, is definitely a judgment call on our part. And you really have to know someone to push them to processing out loud, talk about it. My case, I'm always telling stories about my mom. I'm always having feel good feelings about my mom. I'm always either, acquainting some behavior I have to my mom. And so, in those regards, my processing over the years was doing what I could that was within my power. And that is just tell my mom stories, man. Like, hey, this is some true shit that happened between me and my mom. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm not, telling these stories for any other purpose other than the feelings I get when I tell them. I mean, they're crazy stories, but the real benefit is that I get to feel and go back in time, and remember my mama, man, and that's some joyous stuff right there, man, because um, death is a fine.
That's how she lives on.
Yeah, I think that the only way that I can relate to her is through the stories that I was witness with her. The times that we had together that I can remember are what comfort me and get me through. I mean, and I'm okay with knowing that those memories all I have. That's it. I've looked. I've tried everything I could, but those memories is all life has given me, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm not greedy, and I'm not selfish. I don't want somebody to live just because I want them to live and not move on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's born to die, and we gotta get over it. You know.
Yeah, and in regards to your mother and that passing, the fact that you are still here living is the natural order of things. I think it is an abomination for a parent to have to bury a child in that unfortunate event.
Yeah.
I think that death obviously is a part of life, but that's something that we can't avoid. But we can find solace even in the worst times in situation like burying a mother that this is the order of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that is a enemy of sadness, one of the things that sadness and this other principle can't occupy the same person's consciousness and spirit but so long, and that principle is acceptance. You know, the more that I accepted the order of things
Hey,
to be the natural
hey,
order of things.
I went to Maslow's stages
Hey,
of
man.
grief.
Hey, it's got to be said. It's got to be said. Acceptance is, the arch enemy of sadness. Because
Right.
once I accept, I gain a little bit more power. You know what I mean? Once I accept that it is, we say that cliche, it is what it is, but I don't think people really understand what they're saying. I don't think they really understand, what keeping it 100 means, the depth of that. Now, I can tell you one thing. There's some people that I'm truly impressed with, and I'm not a big social media guy, and it's only because I've, just started. I had a Facebook page for a long time, but I just started an Instagram page. I think my daughter signed me up for Twitter. Um, I got a new email, WELNINC 2022 at gmail.com. Tell me your
What's on
story.
Instagram?
I have no idea what that Instagram is, sir. Not one clue. Okay, and don't.
Oh, you gonna find out.
I told you. Listen, sir. You'll stop fucking with me, Marcus. Listen. um, what was I about to tell you, man? You made me forget.
My bad, bro.
Come on,
Now
man.
you was about to tell me about how you get power from it is what it is, but don't nobody understands.
Yes.
The
One of the
power
yes,
is what it is.
yes. And I was getting ready to say, I was getting ready to name drop on some people um, who I've come across in the last, I want to say, a couple of months that I knew about them. You know, I probably couldn't quote anything that they've ever written or sung or rapped about, but I do find myself, paying attention to some of their philosophies and ways they describe how they live their life. And you know, one way to say it is iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, and get you recognize when you have acquired knowledge, um, you recognize when someone has went out and acquired some knowledge. Okay,
Right.
I don't have a PhD in nothing, but if I tell you what somebody with a PhD said, you can go to the bank with it. Right? I mean, that's the kind of
Right.
education I have. And if I say it
Right.
was, if I say he proved it, he proved it. You know. But one of them is Kevin Gates, man. Good lord,
Kevin Gates.
man! I heard Kevin Gates. I only heard a few clips. Listen, I have not heard more than a minute and a half of anything Kevin Gates has ever said or rapped about in his life. And I'm telling
Right.
you, my intuition from the things that he said can only come from pain, suffering, and healing. That you cannot get the depths of reflection and the jewels of knowledge that he drops in those interviews. I don't know if people understand what they're listening to. He's done the work for the people that attract to his message. He's done the work for you. Just listen. You know what I mean? Just listen. Um, you're gonna make me. You gonna
In
make.
regards, to, I mean,
I'm trying to think of the other person.
The other way.
I'm trying to think of the other person.
Yeah, let's think of the other person because in regards to Kevin Gates, I my friend, I'm not a fan.
Well, I mean, like I said,
just want to be very clear. I mean,
I'm just talking about the brother.
I just want to be very clear. No.
Okay.
I know enough
Okay.
to understand. I know you said enough for me to understand where you're coming from.
Okay, good.
The half that you got from him.
Got
But
you.
I'm telling you that I've consumed
That was a
more
pretty
than
good minute and a half, man. Like he said some.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm not a fan.
Thank you, Kyle. Look, Cal on here, he said Kevin Gates interviews are fire. You shut up, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, he out of town. He on here. I can't even type, man. So the other I can't think of the other person. Let me think.
Yeah, let's talk about this other person.
Like I said, I'm not real savvy when it comes to what's the other person's? Who's the other person? I can't remember.
There are some things about Kevin Gates I do admire, and that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. This man acquired a master's degree, I believe, in the penitentiary, if I'm not mistaken. Educated brother, financially secure. You know, he has a code, sticks to it. And
that's it.
Definitely what you said
That's
is valid. In regards.
So if you so one of the things that I've said in earlier videos about my own personality that I accept is I recognize people's passion, Marcus, and I recognize the brother's passion. You know what I mean? It's not so much as the content, but in this case, I do get down with some of the ways he uses his words to describe things that are phenomenal. Like you have to really go out and seek knowledge, man, in the form of vocabulary through reading and studying to be able to use words to express the phenomenon of being human, because the English language is very sloppy when it comes to trying to express what it's like to have a human experience, an emotional experience. We got to use so many metaphors and as and ifs and similes just to get our feelings across. So when you come across somebody who has the knowledge to put some words to how you and other people may be feeling, you got to recognize that. That's all I'm saying. Kevin Gates don't come after me. I'm just trying to give you props, man. So, but the other thing men do, Marcus, with sadness is we suffer in silence, you know, and no one's really, you know, came into that intimate space to tell us how to come out of this darkness. You know, it takes somebody to go in there with you and say, hey, this is the way out. And to do that, you got to develop relationships with people. You know, someone in your circle has to recognize that you're in a dark place, and we just got to be here with you until, you know, something changes or whatever they need to do to motivate you. You know,
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you saying sadness is something that you can't deal with by yourself?
I'm pretty sure people deal with sadness all the time by themselves. I'm saying that one of the Achilles heels of being an adult, male or female, is you find yourself dealing with sadness alone. You could be in a relationship and be sad for whatever fears you have or for whatever miseducation you have about, you know, people say keep it real, but when you start talking about some real shit, they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they say let's keep it 100, but, you know, they really don't want to hear it. It takes somebody to care about you and care about your well-being to give you the respect, the acknowledgement, and the acceptance you need to be able to be free from whatever guilt, sadness, or remorse you have. You know, and if you can find that in a friend, a relationship, a wife, whatever it is you find that in, you got something, man. Somebody that lets you come out and be as close to authentic as you possibly can be is, you know, is the ultimate relationship.
It is the thing to strive for. I will agree.
Now, that's totally opposite of sadness. You know, that's one recipe for how to deal with sadness. You know, that's just one, you know, one way that, you know, I have and maybe other people have dealt with their sadness is through processing with loved ones. You know, being around that one person who you can just break down and let it be real with. And that's all we need. I am playing with my cat, y'all saw. He is under the table doing his thing. Hey, boy. So, yeah. Well, Marcus, it's been good talking to you, man. I am going to.
Right. You gotta get some other callers. You gotta get some other callers on the line. Out there. What's your live topic?
It is.
We need to get some likes. Everybody, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this. Come on, everybody, let's do this.
I'm getting ready to see if. Oh, I don't think I can send it this way. I got to do it on my phone. Oh well.
You gotta tell these people to hit that like button.
I think Betsy just somebody just added. Oh no, no, my bad. I thought some. It looked like I'm telling you, man. I'm so new to this stuff, man. I thought somebody had posted the link on Facebook or something. But I was wrong. It's okay. Listen, man. Humble beginnings. You know what I mean? And I need to get comfortable in my own skin behind this camera, and I'm aware of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm aware of that. I'm aware. I got a long way to go. I got a long way to go. However, it's WELLNINC 2022 at gmail.com. Tell me your story.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead, continue talking to your audience, everybody. Like and subscribe and share this.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Marcus. Hey, y'all. I am gone. I am going to.
Oh, you out? You out?
Yeah, man. I got O'Shea here tonight. She's doing something in there.
Stop all this name dropping.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Marcus, this is not the CIA. It's okay.
Hey, bro. It's rules to the game. I didn't make it. All right, I'm gonna talk to you, man. I gotta get
All right, baby. Bye, baby.
I'm out. I'm out.
Okay, so I do have some, my things been going up over here. Okay, tapped in. Thank you, Hannah. I cleared it up. It's not always about men. I say men as universal. I don't. I don't mean it. I don't mean to be. How can I use this word? I don't need to be so strong on the man word. You say it like that. Sorry, I didn't mean it. So okay, I responded to everybody. And what is that? I don't know what that is. All right, well, let's go down my Facebook page before I get off here tonight and just see what my friends are doing. All right, I see. Oh, thanks a lot. Okay, everybody's telling me they. Oh, thanks. Okay. All right. So let's go down. Okay. So, oh, tell her I miss her. I miss her. Okay. All right. So I'm up. She about to school too. What? Oh. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So my boy Chris, um, he said boxing matches versus the one-eye wimp is 100% back on and locked in for June 3rd. Go Chris. Go face. Go face. Listen, man. Face. You're my man crush, man. Like secretly, I got your back, man. I pump you up everywhere I go. I ain't never seen a more real life story from the dirt. Ain't nothing you can tell me about face, man. I watched this dude for like 20 years, man. So do it. You got my support. Anytime you call my phone, you got me. Sharon said I've been hacked. Okay, so don't mess with Sharon and all that. Christine, I see. Yeah, I think that's her dad. And Chris said another one. He said, "Rank the top 10." Okay, he was asking a question. All right, Ro, I see you, baby. All right, Chris chilling again. I'm telling you, boy, Chris, you be everywhere. Ro, you always post the dope for shit, bro. Chris, I'm never going fishing, man. I don't know what to tell you, man, about the fish. Good for you. That's all I can say. All right, so I think we all caught up. Uh-oh. Mary, Gary, Samantha, Sarah. I see the pictures. You know you're going to get a like. Who is that? The babies. These are pictures of people I've watched. Travis. Hey, Travis Utley. Chi Chi. Hope you feeling better, baby. Angie. Hey, Ange. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and add you, Ange. Let me get this work. And I think that's all we're doing. Kiki, hope you feel better, baby. All right. So I think I'm all caught up on my Facebook. I don't think there's anything. Let's see what's over here. All right. My brother, he's lost in a video. Give him a like. Uh, is that Mike Tyson? Yeah, Mike Tyson and his pigeon. Now come on, Mike. Look at that pigeon cage behind you. You know better. That's huge, man. Who else is doing that? Since I have Claude and Ray. What am I supposed to do? Okay. All right. I love her. Okay. So y'all was talking about today. She sends all her love to Claude and Ray. Yeah, Claude. All right. So we're gonna bring this to a close. Ain't nobody on my Facebook doing too much. Uh, Jazzy. Y'all know who Jazzy is. Go on my Facebook page. Lily. Oh, the beautiful baby. Lily has a beautiful daughter named Crystal. Hey, Lily and Crystal. That's a whole other story, Lily. You ever want to call me and text me, we'll tell the story. Okay? Enjoy your RV. All right. So, oh, the baby. Baby. Hey, man, I thank all y'all for your support tonight. I think I'm getting a little bit more comfortable behind this camera, and I'm getting a little bit more comfortable on discretion and transparency and honesty, man. We don't have to be all vulgar to be honest, but we can make our points. So, WEL WELLNINC 2022 at gmail.com. Tell me your story. Find me on Facebook. Inbox me. I don't care how you get in touch. Get in touch with me. Let's talk about it. Y'all have a great evening. We'll end the stream right here. End stream.